It's that Friday feeling! Oh yes, it's that Friday feeling, and today we are back at Skylarksfield. Yes, we have got the Dr. Owens with us today, but no, he is not videoing me. Oh no. We are videoing him. He does so much for the channel, following my planes and bits and pieces, that I thought I'd get my flip-flops on today and relax. Chill out, just with you. So grab a cup of tea, relax, and watch the next few moments or so with something special with Dr. Owens and myself, Chris, in a gloomy, wet day in England. Oh yes. Yes, we have got the AVATAR, whatever it's called, but yes, it's the new drone from DJI, and David's got one. Yes, he has. So we're going to talk to David about one. We're going to see some footage a bit like this. Awesome. And we're going to get some as much as we can about this, but I want to go through a bit what David has to bring normally when he comes with Dad's RC Hangar. What you got? What's this?
So this is the normal little cinematic drone, Cinewhoop, that I use to fly, and it's just normally with it's the Tommy ummagawd Cinewhoop, and effectively I've got a Vista unit on here, so Cadex Vista, which is a DJI digital system. We've got a small Insta360 camera on here as well, and this is really good for flying through objects, flying through buildings, flying through cars, and getting those really smooth, flowy shots of taking somebody down a path.
Now I want to show people, this is what you chase my planes with.
Absolutely.
There you go. Look, let's have a bit of a close-up. This is what David chases the plane. So when you see that fantastic footage of the crashes and stuff, and the lovely aerial shots you see, this is what he uses. So what is this, David? Tell me what's going on here.
Yeah,
what is this?
So again, this is a great Apex digital frame from Impulse RC. Really superb, solid frame, 5mm arms, very solid frame. GoPro Hero 10, outstanding camera. And I've got a whole selection of ND filters.
Look at these ND filters. I have a bit of a close-up on these sexy ND filters.
So do you want to just...
Yeah, this is... These, I mean, I don't know what, it looks like something you should wear on your wrist. Look at that. I'm going to be starting to rain a bit again. Look at that. It's really so sexy. Quality. And you can see on the footage, can't you, how lovely it is with the ND filter.
Yeah, it makes a real difference. And
that fits straight on the GoPro, doesn't it?
Yeah. Effectively, you can twist the lens off the GoPro, just like so. And then the ND filter fits on in the same way, and then you just twist it back on again.
Awesome. So this is your standard DJI...
Yeah, goggles version, in this case version 2. So goggles V2 as opposed to goggles 2, which we'll come to in a minute. Really great goggle. We've got the iFlight patch antennas, which really help pointing in the direction of the aircraft, and then the two Omnis at the top. From True RC, which are fabulous.
I mean, that looks like something out. It should be sort of like Tom Cruise should be wearing in Maverick.
It does look a bit nerdy, doesn't it? Yeah,
it's nerdy. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
Now okay. This is great, but these are great as well. I mean, they are expensive, and you don't have to go for this amount of goggles. As I say, David does this a lot. Okay, what's this thing that looks like a strange animal? I mean, just look at this. This is another thing. I like the look at this. Look, you must clean your things, you know.
Yeah.
Look at this thing. It looks like something like a bug. It's quite heavy, actually, compared to the other ones. Obviously with no props on at the moment. But what's this thing?
Yeah, so this is, I'll power it up as we're talking. This is the DJI FPV drone. It's a smashing piece of kit for, just taking it out of your bag and going flying.
Right.
The camera system on it, unfortunately, is not quite as good as the... I'll just power it up in a second.
Oh, it's all right.
There we go. This is the bit you'll like.
Go on then. Ooh.
And it has purple lights, so, what's not to love?
But is this the one that's got the light underneath it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's got a sort of landing light as well. The nice thing with this is that you can take it out your bag and go filming. The camera's all built in.
But the most thing that we're here to do today is to talk about this bad boy, the AVATAR. Well, you make your own mind up. AVATA, AVATAR, which is a kind of another make thing going on. But we're not going to go for a review about this, about sort of like how nice it is. The plastic's nice, the blown plastic. It's pretty solid. We just actually see what it wants to do, and if it's any good for David. It's not going to be a chase drone, is it? It's not good for that sort of thing?
No, not at all. Again, you know, some amazing videos out there already. So Mads Tech has done a really good review of this drone. In fact, he's the reason I bought this drone, actually. There's also Paul Nurk has also done an amazing video, probably the best video I've seen out there, about how to use the drone and what its best purposes for. And then also Tommy Tobiah as well, who's done a fabulous.
They're all great channels, and if you want to know about quads, which you should do. I mean, if you like aviation, then you should at least get one quad, whether it's a diddy thing, whether it's something, you know, sort of like something that's diddy like this. And yes, I should have bought my Cinewhoop. Now the Cinewhoop I love, and the worst thing is that I've got this, hang on, so DIP, is it? PID? No, DIP.
IPD.
IPD! Okay.
Interpupillary distance.
See, this is why he's a doctor, yeah, and I'm not. So, interpupillary distance thing basically means
between your eyes.
The distance between your eyes, and inside the goggles you've got one focus that you want to see, but you get two. Obviously, there's two holes basically, and you need them to join there. And I've always had a problem with that. Secondary, obviously, is about your motion sickness, but you can get that sorted out. But apparently, DJI thought about that. And when they brought this AVATAR out, they also brought some goggles that handle just that. And not just that, you don't have to go to your opticians and say, can you give me some lenses to stick in here? You don't have to wear contact lenses. So
that's a big thing for you, Chris, because it's one of the reasons you haven't got into this.
Yeah.
It's because you can't get the goggles to suit your eyes.
I'm blind, and also when the good Lord made me, he decided to put my eyes further out. I can see my peripheral vision is pretty awesome. I can see over there without even looking, which is a mad thing. Not that you would think that with the amount of crashes I've had, but that's a different thing. So let's have a look at the goggles. Come on, let's have a look at these sexy goggles.
And we'll come back.
So these are the original goggles, which are the V2
goggles. V2,
which are really sexy. I mean, they have got their little pip there, is it?
The IPD controls are here, but they've got no focus controls.
There you go. So there's the whatever it is.
IPD.
But there's no focus. But let's have a look at the new ones.
Yeah, and have a look at the new ones. And it's worth just showing, for those of you who've got Fat Shark goggles, I've put the goggles into the Fat Shark case, just to sort of show you how small they are.
Now, Fat Shark, if you don't know, is another make.
Yes.
I've got Fat Shark. I think they're Dominators, but they're quite old now. So here's the comparison. Get up nice and close, David.
Yeah, you can see that they're very much smaller.
A lot lighter for the head.
A lot lighter for the head. Yeah, I think 280 and 400. Anyway, there's a significant difference. We'll put what the actual difference is.
Yep.
In the video. So what we've got on here that makes these really funky is obviously you've got the little aerials that just fold up. These are quite cute.
Awesome.
And you can pull them out. I'm sure that other manufacturers will make antennas for the goggles as we move forward. Just push back in. But they're great that they just fold away, because the problem with the old goggles was that the Fat Shark, I don't mean Fat Shark, I don't mean DJI aerials were about this high, and you had to unscrew them to put them away, and that was a pain. So what we've had from the industry is lots of different antenna options that have allowed us to put smaller antennas on, which probably aren't quite as good as the taller antennas from DJI, but it just means it goes straight in your bag. This
is what you want to do. I mean, you know, a lot of time, and you know, Dave's time as well is very limited, as we all are, so busy in life. So when you want to go out there and do your quadding or do a bit of filming, you don't want to be spending half a day building stuff like you would normally probably with other things. So this is a grab and go, which I really like. This is really sexy. I mean, you know,
for me, of the AVATA system, however you say that word,
AVATA,
is the real beauty. I mean, the goggles are a work of art.
This is sexy.
And they've even got a little cover for the lenses, so to stop you getting sun in, no damage.
Let's have a bit of close up here. Look at this.
No sun damage, and you see they just clip over the top.
Now you can see inside it goes from -8 to 2.
Yeah, so the diopter's in there, and I'll show you how the adjustment mechanism works in a second. But yes, you've got from -8 to +2 on both eyes. You can set them individually. So on the bottom, we've got these really nice little, so you press and rotate, and that releases it, and on both sides. And now that allows you to move them in and out to get your IPD correct for your face, and then your focus is just a simple twist. Can
you show that? So, because I mean, some people might not. So, if I show you, if you could do the IPDs, David, you can see.
Yeah, you can see.
Can they see them moving?
You should be able to see that moving. And once you've finished, so once you've got it perfect for you, and it takes a little bit of time from the time I've had with the goggles, one of the things that can happen is that if you go the wrong way with the IPD, you get double vision. So by bringing them back into the middle, so if you start to get double vision with them, it's just pull them back in the other way. Once you've got to the right place with it and the whole area's focused, you just simply push it in and rotate it, and that locks it. Push it in and rotate it, and it's locked. So it's a really quick way of then locking these in place, and then they don't move, don't change the focus. So this
could be a big thing of me. Now, what about misting up?
So
and bits and pieces.
Yeah, so we talk about, there's a couple of things as well. When the goggles are powered up, as you put them to your face, there's a little sensor that notices that you're putting them to your face and turns the screens on. So the moment you take it away from your face, the screens turn off. So really impressive. And then if we quickly go around the sockets we've got a power socket, we've got a little, runners going past. Instead of having a 5-way switch that we've been used to on the Goggles V2, the Goggles 2 had this little pad that you can use for swipe.
Oh wow!
And double tap with 2 fingers to go back. So it's a really nice. You can instantly get access to the menus by pulling down or pulling up or pulling from the left, and each one's for the drone, one's for the goggles, and one's for the
learning
camera.
curve.
Yeah, so a lot of learning to do there.
But has it got like fans built in as well that
yeah,
blow
it's
around?
Fans built in. I know that Mad Tech Ian is a little bit worried about the cooling. We're not sure. There's a fan that sits right in the base of the goggle here, which seems to suck in or blow out air from these, and suck in or blow out air from these. We need to work out which way around it is. And then there's very small vents inside the glasses, inside the goggles themselves, that would then demist them. But Ian's not yet convinced that it's a really good system.
Right. Ian's. I mean, I met Ian before when we did the HD Zero, and he's an intelligent man. So we'll see that. I mean, let's just have a look at this one. Now, I've been looking at this, and I don't know what mask that reminds me out of Star Wars.
It does kind of have a.
It's a Star Warsy thing, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
We're getting there. So listen, I mean, you know, and what about the most thing as well is about the battery life of the Avata. What we saying per flight?
So it's about hovering 12 to 18 minutes. Some of the videos I've seen online are around 15 minutes. Flight times of around 12 minutes.
So if we're doing a nice, well, I mean, we'll watch some footage anyway in a minute, but if you get some nice sort of floaty about and bits and pieces, and you're not going mad, you're not doing flips, you just want to do a nice, I mean, Caroline's channel. I'll put Caroline's link down as well, but you can see this footage that I'm talking about when she went up, where did she go? I don't know, some mountains, I can't remember, sorry Caroline. But it's all about the glidey footage. So you're gliding around. It's like, you know, it's as if you're Peter Pan and you're flying with Superman. And so what we're talking about, 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'd say somewhere between 12 to 15 minutes is what you could expect from this. The higher the wind, the more aggressive the movements that you're making. You know, obviously the lower the battery life.
And what's the good things about sort of like, has it got like return to home? Has it got like
that's
beep, it's standard stuff?
Absolutely. And what we should also say is that the resolution of these is 1080p to the goggles, and you've got 2 frame rates, 120 and 60.
Right.
So it's the highest resolution I've seen, digital resolution I've seen in a goggle.
Right.
The goggles V2 version 2, as opposed to the
Not
goggles
2, version 2.
Version 2. They're about 810, so 1080 versus 810.
Okay.
So a big step up in resolution, and you can clearly see that. And the technology that's in there, just, it's a beautiful, outstanding picture. So yeah, coming back to this little baby then. So the specs on this is it will allow return to home. So when you take off, you'll see in the footage that we'll put in that it recognises the home point,
right,
and then it gives you a little bit of VR in the goggles to show you where the home point was. Now if you then, for whatever reason, you lose the radio link, it will automatically return to home. Now there are no sensors, there's only sensors on the bottom. So we've got the sort of flow sensors, optical flow sensors, so it's able to up to about 10 meters hover in place and track the ground position.
You've got like GPS and all that sort of lovely stuff.
Yeah, the little GPS sits in the top here, so you've got GNSS. So rather than GPS, which is the global positioning system, you've got the global navigation satellite system, which is made up of all of them. So you've got GPS in that, you've got Galileo, GLONASS, all of the BeiDou all of the various different satellite constellations from all the countries of the world included in this.
Yeah,
so,
but I don't think. I mean, can you just take that battery out for me, David, please? Because I don't want to break stuff.
No, it is a bit of a pull.
Last month, August was my break everything month. But when you think about it, and you look at other, I mean, look, there's not much tech. I mean, they've squished it down to such a size that this is. I mean, if you showed someone this back in 1940s, it'd probably been mind blowing, because it's.
The two antennas, Chris, are in here and here. One of the
antennas
criticisms is that it's got the little SD card slot inside the bay, so you have to sort of do this to get at it, and you can see the card and the USB slot in there, so it's quite difficult to get to, and people are worried that if you leave that out then it'll get caught in the prop. So one of the things you need to make sure with this is you clip that away.
Yeah, but I think things like that, when people moan about things like that, it does annoy me. I mean, it's a bit like it's a bit like having a nitro engine. Well, I shouldn't call them nitro engine, because it's not just nitro, but an IC engine. People leaving their plug in there after it's and taking off with that. It's all about you should never rush aviation, and it's all about, even with drones, it's about sort of going through a checklist. We're all pilots at the end of the day. This flies. We don't
absolutely.
fly this flies, we're pilots. And every pilot, whether it's in the full scale version or mini version, you need a checklist. Have I done this? Have I done that? And have I done this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Safety first. Anyway, David, I think, we've probably sort of put everyone to sleep. Not me, because I'm excited.
We did talk about the antennas. These are the two.
We did. It does worry me about these being antennas, because my landings are not as. But then again, it does its own thing.
It lands itself, and I think you can fully manually land it. I mean, there's the 3 modes that we know.
But why would you want to? I'd rather just press the buttons, they land.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I quite like with this is that you've got the pause button. Again,
a pause button.
So if things go really wrong,
this is the control. We haven't gone through controllers, have we?
No, we haven't gone through controllers. So we should just spend a couple of minutes on the controllers.
Go for it.
So the DJI AVATA ships with the motion controller, which is an amazing piece of kit. And on here we've got all the controls you need to be able to control the drone.
Because this is head tracking as well, isn't it?
It does head tracking as well, which you need to enable on top of this.
Right.
So this does the flying, and then you've also got the ability to look around with the goggles as well, which I haven't played with yet, but it looks really
We're going
to
film you doing that.
Yeah, at some point.
No, we're going to film it today.
Okay.
I'm going to put you on spot.
Yeah, I haven't tried that. But this is a really cool. So you've got your mode switch to do your normal, your sport, and then your full manual mode. You can tilt the camera with a little slider at the side. Your takeoff and land button, and then if it all goes wrong, your get me out of it button you just press and it'll hold wherever it is.
I'll do that. I mean, it feels like I'm playing a game. Sort of like a home, whatever, PlayStation or God knows what else, but that you're doing stuff. It's almost like what's that? I've forgotten what it's called now. When you've got the goggles on, my son does it all the time.
Oculus Rift? Are you thinking about?
I don't know. Something you put your goggles on. No. My son does it. He wears all these things and everything else, and is in another world of his own.
Virtual reality.
Virtual reality. Yes, there you go. So I have enough problem with reality, with let alone virtual reality. So yeah, it's almost coming like this, isn't it? Really. But I mean, how cool is that, eh? I mean, it's kind of scary, really, isn't it? I mean,
It is. And you get a little dot in the middle of the screen, and all you do is you put the dot where you want to go, and you just squeeze the trigger. And then when you have enough, you just come off the trigger and it stops.
So where's the heat-seeking missile button?
That's the red one. No, that's not. But it could be. But no, really cool. And then obviously the standard DJI FPV drone controller, which is the preferred method. If you're a beginner, then that's a really good way to start. And it would take you through going through sort of a normal, then into sport, and then you really need to be practicing in the app.
Again, it's a game controller, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a game controller, and I have to say my preferred format is the original DJI FPV remote, which was much more like a traditional radio. This one is like a games controller. Has the same, obviously, gimbals and a few nice rocky switches. So on this one, you've got your normal mode, your sport mode, and manual. You've got your emergency button here again, so if it all goes wrong, you just press your button and that stops it. Your either take a picture or record button on this side, and then if you're in manual mode, you can start and stop the props with the button here. I've
never understood, David, why PlayStation haven't jumped on all this. because I mean that reminds me of a PlayStation controller. So you could be at home with your PlayStation controller practicing your flying on some sort of simulator, and then you turn it off and use the same controller with your drone.
Yeah, and DJI have thought
muscle memory.
Yeah, absolutely. But DJI have thought that they've done a really good, I say really good, it's a mobile version of a simulator for flying this. So you can plug in all the gear, put the goggles on, put the remote, and fly their drone in virtual reality on an app. So it allows you to practice, get used to.
It's not, you haven't got, it's not like on PC or
no,
Mac.
It's on the smartphone.
Right, okay.
And straight into your smartphone, and it works really well.
On an iPad.
I haven't tried it on an iPad, but I've tried it on my phone. But because you're looking through the glasses
and getting eaten live.
Yeah, you're getting eaten alive, and not looking at the phone, it doesn't matter because the phone.
Oh, of course it doesn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there you go. So they have thought of that as well. So, but I mean, this is top end. I mean, David's been doing this a long time. I mean, you know, I try to fly my Cinewhoop, and yeah, a couple of feet off the ground. But it's like me and everything. I tip my toe and everything, and feel the waters and see what it's what. But the main reason I have not gone down the road is because of the getting my eyes the PID. IPD.
We'll get there eventually.
IPD. We won't get there eventually because I'm useless. IPD. Okay. All right, yeah, eye thingy. Anyway, enough of all that tech talk. You're probably sitting there snoring away and you probably scrubbed it. But you should understand, you know, today's all about David and what he has to bring. And he has to bring all this stuff. Yes, that is just for one thing, for me, to fly around my planes. you go, some craziness on a Friday feeling. Yes, it's got a bit cold again. We did have a stop, it was raining and all sorts of things, but it got me to fly a drone, and it was a DJI drone, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I thought I was going to get a bit seasick. I thought I was going to fall off, throw my guts up in the bush somewhere, but no. So that is the AVATA. We're still not quite worked out AVATA, AVATA, yeah, whatever it is, but it's fantastic.
Some strange name. So what do you think of the goggles? Because you were having this problem this morning. You're telling me about this IPD issue.
IPD, and, yeah. I'll tell you what. Okay. You must have been to a picture house or whatever you call it in America, where you watch movies inside a building. Imagine that you've got like a rectangle view. That's all I saw. I didn't see like a little thing trying to focus. It was literally like looking at an HD film in a cinema. It was fantastic. I mean, the size of these puppies, look at these bad boys.
They're beautiful, really are.
They are fantastic. I mean, I loved every second of it, and it was, I was in noob mode. I was in, what do you call it?
Normal
mode. I was in normal mode, so I couldn't crash. I thought, I tell you what, if you've saved your pennies up, this is only my thing. If you've saved your pennies up in your piggy bank for a drone, and you want your very first drone, and you've seen all these guys doing all these acrobatic things, but you just want to float around. I mean, you did see David was doing 60 mile an hour.
Yeah, so in manual mode it's 60 miles an hour, about 28 miles an hour in sport mode, and I don't know, 11 miles an hour I think it was in...
That's the other way around.
Normal mode was 11.
Normal mode was 11 mile an hour.
Sport about 28.
28 sport.
And manual was 60.
And manual was 60. So yeah. David done the 60, so you can go fast. I suggest you get yourself some. And that's my point of view, which means absolutely nothing, but from my first experience, I was immersed. I could have sat there all day long until the battery died, and it would have come back, I think, doesn't it, when the battery dies?
Yeah, if you get below about 30%, it'll return to home.
So you can't do better than that, David. I mean, I'm annoyed at David because this today was all meant to be about David, not me. Dr David Owens and what he does for Dad's RC Hangar, and watches me fly and crash planes and stuff. But the little sausage got me flying, as you saw. But at the end of the day, I'm really happy at that. I mean, today's been a weird day, isn't it? It's been raining one second and then freezing the next second, and then it's been warm. It's typical British weather. But
welcome to the dark side, you know, drone pilot.
What's this guy on about? Anyway, listen. From the dark side, yeah. I told you it was something to do with Star Wars. What? We're back in the hangar. What happened there? Well, the battery ran out. Me and David had such a fantastic time, or should I say David and I had such a fantastic time that I didn't even check the battery. So listen, if you want to see some footage of me, then we'll do that another time. And also, yes, David did crash the quad. It bounced just a little bit, and obviously I think it was where the battery went in properly. You saw that little danger signal. But yeah, what a great day. Absolutely fantastic. So listen, if you're getting out and flying this weekend, be safe, keep safe. And listen, thanks for popping by. Each and every one of you, it means the heart to me. And once again, thank you, Dr. David Owens, for all the help you do for Dad's RC Hangar. Have a good time all. See you later. Just take off, okay? Taking off. Why don't it take it? Oh.
That's it.